Good morning, everybody, and welcome to CommonX Podcast.
The decade that made me.
The work's been done. We've proved our point, and we're blessed.
Gentlemen and ladies, I love the 80s.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to CommonX Podcast. Today, we sit down with Ivan Doroschuk from the Men Without Hats to talk about his new song, I Love the 80s. Now, Ivan, what inspired I Love the 80s? Is it a celebration, a critique, or a little bit of both?
Well, it's definitely a celebration. I think the 80s are a very fond memory in a lot of people's minds, and definitely is in mine. I think it was a great period musically, and it was just fun times. We had a great time in the 80s, and like I said in the song, it's the decade that made me, so I'm eternally grateful to it.
And it's really catchy, man. I showed it to my wife the other day. I let her listen to it. I think I had it in my head for like the next 3 hours. So it's great.
Well, mission accomplished.
Yeah. So are you guys going to release an album?
Yeah, we have a full album coming out end of October, beginning of November. The album is going to have the single on it and a couple other, 7 new songs and one live version.
Awesome.
Of an old song.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
So, did you write this song as a personal love letter to the decade, or were you responding to how the 80s are being remembered today?
A bit of both, like it's a love letter, and it's also, I've noticed over the years that popular culture is still referencing the 80s. There's a lot of borrowing going along in pop music today. There's a lot of 80s sounds. You hear a lot of the big drum sounds coming back, a lot of synths, a lot of robot voices, so and our songs are still being referenced in popular culture all the time. So we think that people are it's trending. The 80s, we have a lot of cross-generational crowds. Like when we play now live, we get our original fans come and see us, and they bring their kids and sometimes their grandkids too. So it's a family affair, and everybody's has a good time. It's great.
If you had to live one day of the 80s over again, what would it be and why?
One day in the 80s, I think it's probably one of the most fun times we had was receiving our first gold record for the Safety Dance album for Rhythm of Youth, and it was presented to us by Mark Gastineau, who used to play for the New York Jets in New York at a club called the Palladium, big huge club we were playing at, and he came out, and the reason he presented it us with the gold record is because when he used to play with the Jets, he was a defensive player, and he used to sack the quarterbacks all the time, and every time he would sack the quarterback, he'd do a little dance, celebratory dance, and Pete Rozelle, the commissioner at the time, told him that he didn't want him to dance anymore because it was cutting into making the games go overtime on TV, and they didn't want that to happen. And Mark Gastineau told him, he goes, no, I can dance if I want to, and he kept doing it. Just so he came and presented us with the record, and gave me a jersey too, and everything. It was a fun. We had a great time. It was a very memorable experience.
So I've noticed that you have a TikTok account now. The Men Without Hats has a TikTok account. We follow it. We love the content. We stitch duet. We do all kinds of stuff to get the new I Love the 80s song out there. What's your most surreal fan interaction or most unexpected place you've heard the Safety Dance?
Well, a lot of places. I mean, we're blessed that the song is still being referenced, my favorite popular culture moment with Safety Dance is still Beavis and Butthead when they're sitting there watching the video, and
I remember that. Yeah.
They say, "Who is this? Michael Jackson? He keeps saying he can dance, but he can't dance." And I thought that was great. That one and Weird Al Yankovic doing a cover of Safety Dance, the Brady Bunch. Those are probably my two favorite moments. It's like I say, we're blessed.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Do you think nostalgia is healing, or is it a distraction from what we should be building now?
Well, I think it's healing. I think people like to music has always been a time machine. You listen to music and it invariably brings you back to where you were when you first heard the song, or what you were doing back then. I mean, it's a good feeling. The 80s were good times for a lot of people. There was, the colors, the songs, the melodies. There's the people, it was a decade. The 80s was a decade that was really built on the youth. It was a real youth culture, even more than the 60s and the 50s and the 70s. The 80s were really like the movies, the Breakfast Club, all the movies were geared towards teenagers, and just everything was fun. It was new clothes, new technology, new movies, new artwork. Everything was new. And the good thing about the 80s is it was all DIY. You didn't really have to be it was kind of thumb in the nose at the end of the 70s with the big dinosaur rock bands and everything like that. It was the dying age of disco too. So but the 80s were kind of like you didn't have to be a master musician to have a band. You just had to have a good idea and a cool hairdo, and you were on your way. So it was fun times.
Yeah. What do you hope people feel the moment they hear "I Love the 80s" for the first time?
Well, I just hope it brings them back. I hope it reminds them of simpler times. I mean, like happier times, their youth, just give them a boost of energy that, we're going through some pretty complicated times now. Things are changing a lot for a lot of people. I mean, back in the 80s too, it wasn't all fun and games either. It was the Reagan years. It was the Thatcher years. I mean, that was what gave the birth of punk rock was the Thatcher regime. So it was, people were having a hard time back then too. But things are really kind of complicated now with social media putting a lot of pressure on people, and that's one of the reasons I think songs like the Safety Dance are still relevant today. Is people still need to be told that they can dance if they want to. They don't have to. They can march to their own drummer. They don't have to succumb to peer pressure. They don't have to follow the crowd if they don't want to. It's still cool to do your own thing.
You guys are certainly incredible, and you've certainly planted the flag, and we just love the new single, Ivan. It's
great. Thanks a lot. We're having a good time with it. We played it live for the first time. We played in Fredericton, New Brunswick, in Canada for Canada Day, and played it for the first time, and the crowd was already singing along with us. So it was a good vibe.
That's awesome. So are you guys going on a tour then?
We are. We're just we've got dates in Canada and the US, and then middle of August we're off to Europe. We're doing UK and Germany, Netherlands, and then ending up in Scandinavia. Then we're back to North America doing shows in Canada and the US again. And we're going to be busy all the rest of the year.
Awesome. And where can people find that information off your guys' website?
Yeah, safetydance.com. And it has all the info you need. It has all the links. There's a link tree up there, and you can get concert tickets and merchandise and the new record, and everything's all there at one place. Safetydance.com.
Awesome.
And we'll go ahead and put up the Men Without Hats link tree too, so people can buy their merch and download your music. Thanks for being with us here today, Ivan.
Excellent. Nice talking to you guys again.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks, Ivan.
Yeah. Thank you.
I love the 80s. I love the 80s. save me. I love the 80s. Gentlemen and ladies, I love the 80s. Tell you what I'm gonna do. Party like it's 82. Dancing safely across the floor, like we did in 84. Brand new record by the Fix. Sounds like 1986. Get your Walkman, grab a tape. Market 1988. Moonwalk, arcade, two dots, live aid. I love the 80s. I love the 80s. The decade that made me. I love the 80s. Terminator, come and save me. I love the 80s. Let's get crazy, crazy about the 80s. La 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 la. La 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 la. 80s rock the world. La 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 la. La 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 la. 80s rock the world. New dogs, spiked hair, punk rock. Who cares? I love the 80s. I love the 80s. The decade that made me. I love the 80s. Terminator, come and save me. I love the 80s. Gentlemen and ladies, I love the 80s. I love the 80s. I love the 80s. The decade that made me. I love the 80s. Terminator, come and save me. I love the 80s. Let's get crazy. I love the 80s.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today to the podcast, CommonX with Jared and Ian. We really appreciate you guys and would love your support. So make sure you click that subscribe or like button or follow us on all our social media platforms and on YouTube and Spotify, because that would really help us out. And that helps us bring more episodes to you guys every week, and hopefully from, content that you guys want to see. So reach out, TikTok, YouTube, leave comments. If there's anything that you guys want to see or any guests that you want us to try and get on, let us know. We do have a good lineup coming. So thank you again. We love you guys. Thanks for your support. And we'll see you next time. And remember, common sense isn't that common. So that's why we're bringing common sense back from Generation X.